Hello everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to another collaborative sketch challenge with Erin Jacobson's team. We're working our way through Make It From Your Heart Volume 6 and today we're doing sketch number 17. This one has a lot of pictures and they are 4x6 and 3x4. So these are the pictures that I'm going to document. They are photos continuing my series of layouts on our girls trip from September 2023 to Estes Park. So I've skipped over a day. I've skipped Saturday and I'm going straight to Sunday because I have a whole lot more pictures from Sunday. We did a hike in Rocky Mountain National Park up to Bierstadt Lake. There was a moose in the lake. 4 of us from the group decided to go on this hike. So yeah, we'll get back to the day that's in between on a future video. So let's get started. I'm going to use papers from Sweet Days of Autumn. So this is a great autumn, bright colored collection, and it is still available. And then I'm going to use a base from the Country Woods collection. I'm not sure which of these wood patterns I want to use as my base, so I pulled both of them and we'll start building the layout and we'll see which one I like better. I want to have a space at the top on the layout to be able to stamp a sentiment or a title, so that's why I'm choosing the lighter colored wood, and we'll just see where we go. So we'll start with this one, and I want to have that space right there for that title to be stamped. So I'm looking at the pattern and finding a lighter area on the paper. So we'll pull that out and then we'll start looking at the pattern. So there's a green pattern paper in Sweet Days of Autumn. I want that to be the one that goes across horizontally. And then we'll use this piece that has, it's mostly Cajun craze, and that will be in the center, and it's the largest bit. I think the yellows and the leaves and the pictures will pop nicely off of that Cajun craze. Then I'm looking at this espresso with the trees, and also with this this other one that has a lighter background with trees. I don't like the way it lays against that background paper, so I'm going to sandwich it between the espresso one and the Cajun craze. So those are my choices for papers, and let's go ahead and start cutting. I'll speed this up in a second, but we'll get some of the pieces cut. I'm just following the cut dimensions from the pattern, and we'll get the ones that go in the center first. This pattern has tiny little trees. I want to make sure they're right side up, so I flipped them around, and then we'll go with that next piece. So I want to use this because it's got that nice yellow or crushed curry that'll play off nicely off my picture and some of my elements on my page. So we've got those cut, and then we'll do that espresso piece, and small pieces, but it'll make a nice impact, I think. So part of that corner was a little crunch, so I'm just trimming that off to clean up the piece that I actually use on my layout, and then we'll cut that last piece. And then there's a piece that's on the right page that has a banner cut at the bottom, and that lies underneath all of my 3x4 landscape pictures. So I'm going to use this one that has this sort of loose plaid or sort of a graph paper look, hand drawn. And then we'll cut that green one. So I need 2 pieces of that, 12 by 2.5, and then we're good to go. All right, and then got to have a little bit of sparkle and shine. So I've got some of this gold brushed paper cardstock. It's from the Brushed Silver and Gold collection. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces at 3/4 of an inch, And we'll lay this out. I keep looking at that background. Let's try the other one. Let's see what that looks like. And then we'll lay the pattern out. So far, yeah, I think it's working. You don't know till you try it, right? So, okay, we'll lay everything out. And yeah, I like the lighter brown in that pattern. Yeah, it goes better with these colors, I think. We'll lay everything out. And then we can add our pictures just to be sure. And eventually I'll switch that picture that's on the right, I'll switch it over to the middle, just so the colors are more balanced. All right, we're good. Okay, so I have the stamp set that's called Documenting the Day, and you can get this for free with a $60 purchase during celebration. So anything that you purchase on my website, you'll be prompted at checkout to choose a free item, and this is one that you can choose. So I am going to pick the title that says, "Oh, What a Day." It was a beautiful day in Rocky Mountain National Park, and the colors were just popping. And yeah, good hike. Okay. So I'm looking at things and I'm deciding where my pictures are going to be and where the tops of the pictures are going to hit so that I can figure out where to place that stamped title. Okay. So kind of move things around a little bit. And instead of layering "oh what a" over the word "day," I'm going to fill up that space a little bit more and just kind of stagger it above the word "day." And I'll just put a little pencil tick mark there so I know where to do it. Okay, so I'm using my large Misty and I'm going to stamp in Mossy Meadow. And I'm going to stamp a couple of times just so this word "day" is nice and deep and dark. Okay, so wipe off that excess ink so it doesn't get on my pattern paper. And we'll just go for it. Sorry for the glare of the lights. When you have shiny things on your desktop, they're just going to reflect, right? Okay, so we have that, and then I'm going to stamp it 2 more times. So we'll skip ahead. Okay, nice and dark. Love it. All right, and then we'll skip ahead, and I have "oh what a," and I'm stamping that in Early Espresso, and I'm going to stamp that twice. Just to make sure it's nice and deep and dark. And usually as the inks dry, they do tend to lighten up just a smidge. So keep that in mind, and you'll have to consider how many times you're going to stamp. And it's going to dry up a little bit lighter. So off camera, I have added mats to all of my photos. I felt like they needed a little something extra to make them pop against this background. So I've used Mossy Meadow, and I have just an 1/8 of an inch border for those mats. And then I'm going to bring in some shimmer trim. This is bronze shimmer trim. I've cut 12 inches, and then I've cut that in half. So it's 1/4 inch. And I'm going to border that on that green piece. So I have popped my 4x6 pictures with foam tape, and then my 3x4 pictures, I'm just going to glue them direct to the layout. So we'll add that shimmer trim. You could always go and see what kind of glitter paper you have, and you can get the same look. Shimmer trim is just easy because it's already got adhesive on it, and I have a nice stash of it. So one of my favorite products that Close to My Heart made. Okay, so I have dovetailed that piece that my 3x4 pictures are going to sit on, and then I'm going to trim that down. I'm going to cut off a 1/2 inch so that I've got some room at the top and the bottom so we can see the background. And then we'll go ahead and add that to the layout. And we'll place that down according to the design. And then we can add the 3x4 pictures on top. Okay, so we have some scenery pictures, and that top picture is one of my friends who was sitting in the back seat. It's an elk traffic jam common in Estes Park. They rule the road, so you just have to pull over and wait for them to do what they do. This was a bull who was moving his harem across the road, so very cool. He was bugling and getting those ladies to get where he wanted them to be. So I have cut another title using the mini alpha dies in espresso, and I've cut a piece of crushed curry. The pattern has 2 squares that are like subtitle blocks, and I'm only going to use one because I've cut some trees from the excuse me, Frosted Forest collection. I've used the dies, and I've cut a couple of the deciduous trees and a couple of the pines. So I'm using all the same colors, Mossy Meadow and Early Espresso and Crushed Curry. And we'll just kind of fuss around with these and decide where we want them to be. So they'll be in the lower left corner, and then we'll take one of these smaller trees over on the right. And I feel like I want to do something to that crushed curry. It's kind of a little bland. So let's go ahead and scooch all these letters off here. And I'm going to do some stamping. So I'm going to bring in Textured Timber, one of my favorite sets, and it's currently on sale. So I'm going to do kind of a wood grain background. First I was going to use this one, but then I realized that needed to go vertical, so it would make sense because it's a tree trunk. So not going to use that. To change my mind, I'm going to bring in this other one, and it looks like birch wood. So I can stamp over that whole piece with that birch wood look. And the ink that I'm using is Crumb Cake. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to do 1st gen or 2nd gen. So this is 2nd gen. You stamp it off and then you take it to your project. So I like that better. It's very subtle, very light. So stamp off and take it to your project. And we'll speed this up in a second. Stamp off, take it to your project. And I'm going to go all the way across. Okay, so we'll fill up that whole block there. And then I'm going to ink around the edges, kind of grunge it up a bit. And do a nice thick border of ink with this sponge tool. We'll blend that ink all around. Okay, so off camera, I've glued down my letters, and we can go ahead and attach it to the project. But first, I want to go ahead and place my pictures down so that we have everything where it needs to be. So go ahead and place that 4x6 of us on the trail with that beautiful scenery. And then the moose in the lake having breakfast. And we watched her for, it was a cow, a moose cow. We watched her having breakfast for a good half an hour. We walked all around the lake and just watched her and took a gazillion pictures. So, yeah, she kept dunking her head under the water and coming up with, I don't know, whatever it is moose eat from lakes, moss and weeds and, I don't know, greenery. And so, yeah, she was just having a good hearty breakfast and taking her sweet time. And we were able to just observe her for a long time from afar. I used the zoom lens to get that picture. Don't want to make a moose mad, that's for sure. Okay, so we'll go ahead and attach the 4x6s on the left page. And I swapped the picture of the group for the middle, just because it's more of a focal subject picture. And also I wanted the yellow from the trees to be on there's more yellow in the left and right picture, so it kind of balances things out. Okay, so we'll go ahead and place this 3x4, and then we can figure out where we want our embellishments to go. But first, I've cut some tabs from Old Olive using Tags and Tabs die set from Close to My Heart. And I'm just going to put things like the date and our names and just kind of label these pictures. So trying to figure out where to put this tab. I think that's where it's going to live, over on the right side. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to bring in a Le Pen journal pen. This is in a dark brown. And I'm just going to write the date. And off camera, I decided to go ahead and ink the edges of all these tabs. So you'll see that in the final pictures. But we'll go ahead and put this down. And slide that slightly under. And put it there. Okay. And then we can go ahead and add that tree. Good. Okay. And then I'll go ahead and speed things up and we'll do the other one. So this one, I'm going to put all our names on it. And tuck that under. And then that one, I wrote Estes Traffic Jam. And place that there. Kind of a cool picture of me driving my car with me in the rearview mirror there. So I like this other tree above the pictures here. Instead of cutting like a half circle or whatever other embellishment was on the pattern, I'm going to have that little tree popping out. We'll place that there. And then we'll just do the two trees. So the trees kind of make a triangle from the bottom left and then to the center top down to the right bottom. Draws your eye around the page. Make sure that tree is straight. And then we'll add that other evergreen or pine. And then to finish it off, I have, what are these called? They are the faux glass dots, and I'm going to use the green ones, I think. And they come in two sizes. So you've got the smaller ones and then the larger ones. So I'm going to pop a whole bunch of those all around. And I'll pull these closer to the camera so you can take a look. And if you hop on over to my Facebook page, I will have still pictures and close-up shots of this layout. So I'll put the link in the description below, and the URL is at the bottom of the page of the screen here. I'll also make a list of all the supplies that I used with links in the description below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. I'd sure appreciate it. That would really help me out. And thanks for watching.